feel like I used to be of kind of two minds about Christian nationalism. When people first started talking about it, a few years
Mm-hmm.
ago, I liked his. It was a good reminder when Mike was talking about how how amorphous it was at first. Like I don't know, just how like bald faced uh, people are about just sort of morphing into whatever seems like it's going to get them, scoring political points. Because at first, everybody was like, "There's no such thing as Christian nationalism." Like nobody actually believes that. This is like a baseless accusation.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, it was like, actually, Christian nationalism is great. We've always been Christian nationalists.
What's wrong with Christian nationalism?
What's
Shouldn't
wrong?
all
Yeah, what's wrong
Christians
with that? Yeah,
shouldn't all
that kind
Christians be nationalists?
right. And so it's just this like, wait, yesterday you said nobody was this, and now you're saying that it's great. And anyway. So anyway, I think like for me, I have the same reaction as Mike does to it, that it's just like a lot of it feels so ridiculous to me that it's not even worth talking about. You know?
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to answer point by point, what's wrong with Christian nationalism? There can be some kind of what do they call that? Sea lioning? Sort of
Yeah.
demanding,
We just ask questions in order to obfuscate
yeah,
the conversation rather
Yeah.
than being actually curious. You're,
right.
trying to
Yeah.
be
Exactly.
obdurate and churlish.
Yeah. Yes. Good words. Listener, if you need to pause and just look up those words, you'll be greatly benefited.
Obdurate means stubbornly refusing to change one's opinion or course of action.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to look up churlish as well?
Churlish
Listener, you
means
don't need to pause. We're going to read it for
rude
you.
in a mean-spirited and surly way.
Surly.
Surly
Mm-hmm. Means?
bad-tempered and unfriendly.
Okay, good. I don't think we need to look up any of those words.
Unfriendly means
bad means. No.
Yeah,
by
so
the way, sorry. And as an aside, there's a great brewery in Minneapolis called Surly.
Oh.
Yeah. And all their beers are named like Angry Guy, things like that. That's not actually. No, Furious is their IPA, and it's very hoppy IPA. That's called Furious.
I do like hops.
That's their whole thing. Their whole thing is being surly. So.
Yeah, so there is a catalog of defense mechanisms where, and you see this not just with Christian nationalism, but you see it with other identifications or labels that people try to put on.
Yeah.
I mean, you see it with like things like Nazis or,
right.
Things like that, where there's a sorry, man, these big words are popping in my head. I honestly, there's a bricolage of defense mechanisms that people employ. I think they're mostly unconscious defense mechanisms. Usually, right. There's some, I think, malevolent bad actors, but most times our brain creates justifications that are psychological defense mechanisms.
Yeah.
And what happens is that answering those directly doesn't work, because the real problem isn't the actual problem is that is something deeper than just this idea I believe in. It's the idea is doing work for me. It's creating some sort of emotional gosh, I cannot use another word that nobody will know. It's doing deep emotional work for me, and then the reality of it being challenged is an existential threat.
Yeah.
And so I will create confabulations that deflect, deny, redirect, project, accuse to get out of it. But then the macro sort of result of that, Ben, is that we end up treating something like Christian nationalism as principled people can disagree about this.
Right. Yeah, we end up thinking of it as, just one disagreement that has about as much effect on our lives as, what sports team we prefer, or what color we like to paint our house,
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it's
And
like,
so
well,
then,
there can be lots of opinions about this.
yeah. So the real rascal, the real
Hmm.
scandal is that, Ben, you're so intolerant of
Right.
Nazis that you won't entertain, you won't talk to them,
Yeah.
you won't
That's
debate them,
crazy. Yeah.
you won't engage them.
Yeah.
And then what happens is the window of tolerance for what's
Hmm.
acceptable in culture stretches and expands to include things that undo tolerance,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So, so
Yeah.
then, somebody who's an anti-Nazi, which I, as a Christian, the cross of Christ compels me
Hmm.
to be an anti-Nazi,
Yeah.
in love. What happens is, uh, that position
Yeah. You
becomes
being,
equated with Nazism as two intolerant people,
yes.
and on one hand, but the other hand is what's at stake is that Nazis actually want to eliminate the rights, freedoms, ability to exist of entire people groups.
Right.
Whereas I don't want to eliminate a person who's a Nazi their right to exist. I don't want to take away their ability to get
Right.
health care or to
Yeah.
vote or to be married.
Right.
I don't want them deported to a concentration camp.
Yeah.
I want them simply to stop doing that to other people.
Hmm.
And so those
Yeah.
aren't morally equivalent positions.
Yeah. It conflates basically every thought that one might have as of equal impact in the world.
Yes.
And it basically just evacuates it evacuates the implications and the power of ideas, and says one idea is as good as another.
Yes.
And it's like, no, that's, you know, the color of house you want to live in is a very different opinion than you know whether or not people of other races should exist, or
Yes.
you know what I mean, or have rights.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a very different idea. It's a very
Yes.
different kind of opinion. Yeah.
Right. And then what happens is there's then no moral clarity
Mm-mm.
about how we engage these things differently.
Yeah.
So then let's say, Ben, for instance, you want to oppose Nazis by voting them out of office. And I want to oppose Nazis by, you know, what? Violating their civil rights.
Right. Let's put all the Nazis in jail,
Or,
or like,
if
you know what I mean?
you,
Yeah.
yeah, if you say something online that's a Nazi, then you lose your right to vote or something, right?
Right.
And I think we can disagree about this,
Mm-hmm.
and the problem doesn't become that we are divided
Mm-hmm.
in the same way that the two of us are opposing Nazis, but Nazis oppose us. Another way to say this is, estimates are coming in that tens of millions of people have died because of the U.S. aid cuts out of the U.S. budget.
Right.
Tens of millions. You and I can disagree upon how to feed tens of millions of people.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem isn't that we disagree, because our goal is still to feed 30 million people.
Right.
And so one of us may need to compromise, one of us may not get our way, one of us may think what we're doing is inefficient or less correct, but in
Mm-hmm.
the end 35 million people get to eat.
Right.
That isn't equivalent or commensurate with you and I wanting 35 million people to eat and disagreeing over how to do it, and another person saying 35 million people should die.
Mm-hmm. Or
And the reason
simply, I don't care about those 35 million people. They
yeah,
don't live here.
I don't care.
And so I don't want our money doing that. And so I'm just cutting it off.
Right.
Rather than taking your time to revise a policy that you think might, not be a good one.
Right.
You're not taking their lives into account, and that's a different moral position than, taking their lives into account and saying we need to revise the way that we give aid and how much we give, even like we need to rethink this. That's a careful policy decision that takes into account the fact that you've created a system where tens of millions of people rely on this, and they will die if they don't have it. But it's a different moral position to just say, I don't think we should do it, so we're cutting it off, and who cares what happens to them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think some of the reason I bring this up is because I think some of the discourse that becomes acceptable, standard, folk wisdom about our problem actually serves to obscure the problem.
For sure.
Because the problem isn't we all have different ideas or philosophies or positions on how to agitate for the good.
Mhm.
I wish that was our problem.
Yeah.
The problem is that some people are weaponizing political division for harm,
Yes. Yeah.
and
Yeah, it's
others are acting in good faith trying to get good done,
yes.
and they get swallowed and consumed
Mhm.
by people weaponizing political divides for harm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a hard thing, and the tragedy of it is that there are people acting in bad faith, but sometimes it's hard to know who that is, right?
Yeah.
Because that implies motivation, and you can't ever really know, you know, that about somebody. But I think it makes moral sense to make guesses, so that you know how to spend your energy, and spend your time. And I think the tragedy of it is that people who do want to operate in good faith are easily swayed by those arguments that you're talking about because they're operating in good faith, and they want to assume that other people are operating in good faith, and it doesn't feel good to realize that they're operating in bad faith, and we're not very practiced
No.
at how to deal with, in good faith, how to deal with somebody who is not operating in good faith.
Right. Yeah, this is the power of abusive people, is they prey upon and exploit people who operate in good faith and aren't practiced in opposing bad faith actors.
Yeah.
I think this is something I wanted to ask Mike about. Is I agree with him that we need to act with love and humility, but how do love and humility oppose bad faith, authoritarian, abusive people?
Right. Right. Should you, for example, I think oftentimes love and humility, the picture we have of that is maybe not, it's maybe not Christian enough. Christian being a descriptor for Christ, right? So we look at the life of Jesus. How did Jesus love people? But oftentimes we think of it as, sort of like a being nice. And, I think niceness is great, actually. I think kindness is a good thing.
Yeah.
But I think oftentimes we think of love and humility. How do you actually love someone who is lying to you? Right?
Yes.
How do you actually love someone who is acting in bad faith? And then how do you love that person, but also love the people that they're harming? So it quickly becomes a more complex operation than just, and this is not, I mean, just to be clear, Mike didn't say this with love and humility. He's not saying it's just about being nice, but I'm saying that oftentimes that gets filtered through our, I don't know, American Christian filter as just be nice to people. And obviously you don't want to be like, being mean to people is not necessarily virtuous, but more like the morality of love has to be a lot deeper than just being nice to people.
Well, listener,
or letting them do what they're doing. So.
If you are interested in that, we actually did a class on the Gravity Commons called Discipleship in the Streets.
Yeah.
Where we talked about how Jesus often would de-escalate conflict, how he would often find common ground in conflict, and how often he would escalate conflict.
Right.
And he did all three of those things in love
Mm-hmm.
and humility.
Yeah. But it took discernment to know who and where and what situations, right? So
Yeah.
Jesus acts very differently with money changers in the temple than he does with a woman caught in adultery.
Yeah.
And what, why did he do that? I think it behooves us to figure that out. And by the way, listener, that class is available to anybody who would like to join our Gravity community. You can just go to gravitycommons.com/community and you can join for free. You can sign up to support us if you'd like as well. But the recordings to all of our previous classes are available online to anyone who would like to log in and if you find it helpful, I would invite you to donate. gravitycommons.com/donate. Help us to continue to be able to offer these kinds of classes and courses and cohorts and community for those who need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Ben, what did Mary Poppins tell the diabetic?
Just a spoonful of sugar.
Of medicine helps the sugar go down.
Sugar go down. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Thanks, Mary Poppins.
Yeah. This is not medical advice. The Gravity Commons podcast does not engage in medical advice. Please take no. Anyway. All right. Sounds good. Probably good to just end on that.
Probably should end Mary on that. Poppins joke. I mean, that was an incredible joke.
Yeah.
We should go out on high.
Yeah. I wish I had an explosion sound effect. That'd be amazing.
Just hit a random button. Let's see what happens.
Here's a random button. Here we go. Oh, that's kind of Mary Poppins-ish, isn't it?
That'll take us right out.
Woo.